Good morning, everyone. Today is September 29th. We are so happy to have you here. If you are a student and you are in this live event, that tells us that one day you are hoping to become a nurse. Hopefully today, this information session will shed some more light on the different pathways that you can take to reach your career goals. If you do have any friends or family that you feel could benefit from this event, they can still join through the Wake Tech Extra website. So please be sure to share that with them. My name is Blair Turpin. I'm an academic advisor here at Wake Tech. We've got a few of us behind the scenes helping out. We'll introduce ourselves a little bit later as we come in to chat with you all. Today, in the first portion of the event, we are going to introduce Campbell University, UNC Charlotte, Winston-Salem State University, UNC Wilmington, and East Carolina University. And they are going to share a little bit information about their BSN or pre-licensed nursing programs. So for those of you students out there who are in an associate in arts or possibly an associate in science, and possibly for even any of those who might be in the Wake Tech pre-nursing program, we feel as though you could definitely benefit from hearing about these different admissions requirements. In the later portion, after our very, very quick break, we will actually invite the Wake Tech Peri-Health Science Nursing Program, and that program will talk a little bit, or I'm sorry, those folks will talk a little bit more about the RN program and potentially some options to get your BSN after that, or possibly just your RN. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got quite a few people in already, and I will go ahead and let Campbell University introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you again, Wake Tech, for this opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Again, we're Campbell University. My name is James Evans. I'm one of the transfer counselors. And again, I want to share a little bit about the pre-nursing and then also the BSN program here at Campbell. As you can see, this is our brand new student union here at main campus. Campbell University is a Christian university of about 4,500 undergrad students. Most students that are going to be pre-nursing or BSN will be considered undergrad students, but again, here's some of the other demographics here of our students and where they're coming from. These are some of our averages. So an average transfer student is just at about a 3.0 GPA. Most of our classes, even when you look at a lot of our lectures and things like that in our pre-nursing and nursing program, are going to be between 20 and 25 students. We have a 16-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio as well. For students who are coming in that are going to be pre-nursing students, you're going to spend a lot of time here in our Hall of Science, where you'll get all your prerequisites classes, which I'll show in just a second, in addition to any remaining nursing prerequisites, specifically for biology. This is our amazing nursing facility here, just under 75,000 square feet. We also share this building with our PA program and also PT program. So here are some of the highlights of our program. So as I said, any student who's coming as a pre-nursing student, the first 2 years you're going to be classified as just that. As you matriculate, you will become a BSN student, and you will start your clinical rotations as early as that second year. Right now, we're at a 95% pass rate, first attempt on an NCLEX, and that's for a 4-year average. And then, of course, our students are able to obtain employment afterwards. Below you will see all of our relationships, so both small hospitals and community hospitals, and also some of the larger ones as well. Here are some of the courses that you will be responsible to take as prerequisites, and then also, again, matriculating into the program. So you'll see what a freshman year, sophomore year will look like, and then also going into your junior and senior year within the BSN program. Also to the left, you'll see some of the requirements that you'll have to meet in order to get to that portion of the program. All right, some of the admissions requirements. So these are for any students that don't meet the BSN requirements as they come into Campbell University. So what we would ask for you to do is complete an online application. Be sure to submit any official transcripts. If it's just Wake Tech that you've attended, that's cool. Just send those over to us. But if you've also went to other institutions, be sure to send those official transcripts to us as well. We will require high school transcripts for students who have earned less than 24 credit hours at the college level. So that would be your general English, math, psychology, sociology, and so forth. Any students who have obtained any AP or IB classes within high school, be sure to send those over, and any students who have any military credits as well, we would like to see those. All right, so students that actually get into our program for the BSN, we admit one time a year. We have 50 seats. The application will actually be an exclusive application just for BSN program students, so we won't advertise it on our main website. But again, if you meet the requirements for that actual program, you will get that in January, and then you would start that following fall. So what we would ask for is for this process, you would be required to complete the application. There is an in-person interview, and then also a written assessment upon getting into the being selected for the program, Our minimum requirements are going to be a 2.0 cumulative GPA, and then the minimum science requirement is going to be a 2.75. However, as you can see below that, most of our students that are getting into the program are well above that. So just kind of keep that in mind as you start this journey. Some of the scholarships that are going to be available for students, if you are accepted into the university as a pre-nursing student, you will qualify for a merit scholarship as long as you have a 2.5 or higher. There are some need-based opportunities as well, in addition to endowments that will come directly from the nursing school. And then also students can bring in outside scholarships also. Again, this is my information, so please jot this down. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them during the Q&A session. Thank you very much, and again, thank you, Wake Tech, for this opportunity.
All right, thank you, Campbell University. Up next, we're going to have UNC Charlotte talk a little bit about their programs. I just wanted to remind you all, because I forgot to say in the beginning, after each school gives their PowerPoint or presentation, we will then open up the Q&A. So if you're unable to ask any questions or type any questions at this time, it's because we have not opened it yet. So just be sure to listen carefully, and at the end of the presentations, we will gladly have each school answer your questions. All right, so we will share UNC Charlotte next.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Susan Lynch. I'm with the School of Nursing, and I also have with me Caitlin Kubaki, who is with the admissions office and is a transfer admissions counselor. We would like to tell you a little bit about our programs and give you a little snapshot. Next slide, please. We have two undergraduate programs. One is our RN to BSN completion program, which provides the associate degree nurse with an opportunity to earn their bachelor's degree, and that is a 100% online program. Our BSN upper division pre-licensure program is where we're going to spend the majority of our time today, and it's our 4-year program that prepares graduates to be a generalist practice in nursing and allows them to sit for the NCLEX exam. This curriculum has both classroom and clinical experiences, and the courses are here on campus. Next slide, please. For our pre-licensure upper division, all students who are admitted to the university are advised as pre-majors by our College of Health and Human Services professional advisors. Once students are admitted to the upper division in nursing, students are then assigned nursing faculty advisor. Advising during this process consists of a program plan of study, parallel planning, application processes, and admission and progression policies. We have multiple contacts that are here on the screen: our admissions office, our pre-majors who are advised by our advising center, and the faculty advisors, which you can contact me, Dr. Susan Lynch. Next page. Our admissions for pre-major, we require that students have a 3.0 or higher GPA and also need that GPA to progress as they move through their pre-major courses. For admission, we look at prerequisite GPA, which needs to be a 3.3 or higher. Completion of those prerequisite nursing courses need to have a C or better, and they need to be completed the semester prior to entry. We do have other grade requirements for our science courses and our nursing prefix courses, which require a B or better. And with these courses, we allow one of those courses to be repeated if you need to earn that B or better. 4-credit science courses there at Wake Tech and any other university or college will transfer to the university as 2 courses, both the didactic and the lab. We admit fall and spring semester, and we admit 56 students every semester. And you can refer to our website, nursing.uncc.edu, for specific admission requirements. Admission to the nursing program requires 2 applications. Students should apply to the UNC Charlotte transfer student application, and then we have a direct admission to the School of Nursing. The deadline dates are a little bit different for the university and the School of Nursing, and so those dates would be on the website down below. You would indicate your major as nursing, and the admissions office will evaluate your application as a pre-nursing major. All students are admitted to the university as pre-nursing majors, and once you are admitted to the nursing program, we then change your major to nursing. If you have all the prerequisites and you are ready to apply to the School of Nursing, you would apply to both the School of Nursing and the university simultaneously. If you have remaining prerequisites that you wish to take here at UNC Charlotte, you would only apply to the university and then plan to apply to the School of Nursing once those prerequisites are completed. The School of Nursing application is on the nursing website, and you can find the UNC Charlotte admissions process at this link on our website. Pre-licensure requirements. We do require an English composition, which is a writing requirement. We require chemistry 1 and 2, both with labs, bacteriology or microbiology with the lab, A&P 1 and 2 with labs, general psychology, sociology or anthropology, statistics, college algebra, and electives to meet the degree requirements. We also have general education courses, and students can choose a combination of those courses based on your transcript and your transfer credit, which includes different liberal studies courses. Transfer students who transfer in English 111 and 112 are not required to take the LBST 2301, but must take the other 4 LBST courses. And we have a link for our nursing transfer guide that gives a little bit more detail about these courses and about the general education program. The pre-licensure nursing curriculum is a 4-semester sequence in fall and spring. We do not have courses over the summer. We have expert faculty to facilitate your learning. Most students in our curriculum are taking 14 to 16 credits per semester. You will have didactic and clinical courses each semester. We have very high retention rates of students who are admitted to our program. We have very high graduation rates. Our NCLEX rates are well over 90% for the last 5 to 10 years, and we are very proud of our May graduates during the pandemic had a 97% pass rate. A little bit about the RN to BSN curriculum. If you would choose to do an AAS there at Wake Tech, it's really for RNs who complete those that are associate degree in nursing. Ours is a completion program. The prerequisites vary slightly for the program, but they're pretty similar. It's a 3-semester sequence. It can be completed in 12 months, 100% online. Our full-time faculty teach this curriculum. It is typically 10 to 11 credits per semester. And once again, we have high retention rates, high graduation rates. Definitely allows for a work-life balance. And that is really the end for UNC Charlotte. And thank you very much. And we look forward for you to join the Niner nurses here at UNC Charlotte.
All right, thank you, UNC Charlotte. That was awesome. Again, just make sure to hold your questions till the end. Up next, we are going to introduce Winston-Salem State University.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Cecil Holland. I am the Associate Dean and Chief Operating Officer in the Division of Nursing here at Winston-Salem State University, and I'm very pleased to be here to present to you today. This shot just kind of gives you a feel for the atmosphere and the culture here at WSSU. Next slide, please. We have so much to be proud of at WSSU. As you can see here, some of our points of pride or accolades are listed. We are very pleased that we have been ranked as the #1 HBCU nursing program in the nation, and that ranking is from nursingprocess.org for 2021. There are a number of accolades here that you can also see, but we're also proud of the fact that not only have we been ranked #1 RN to BSN program by 2 organizations, but we continue to have a stellar and one of the very first RN to BSN programs in North Carolina. And we are proud of the fact that we are one of the top 10 nursing schools in the east part of the United States. Next slide, please. So our mission here is very simple here. We provide a diverse population of students, a very transformative experience, educational experience that is rooted in our HBCU tradition, historically Black college and university. And so we are certainly dedicated to providing excellent programming, both at the baccalaureate, master's level, but also at the doctoral level as well, and where we're preparing our students to be able to address some of the health challenges that we see not only in our communities, but across our nations, and to be able to respond appropriately to any patient that we are in contact with, regardless of where they are on the health wellness continuum. Next slide, please. So our vision, we are, as you can see by our points of pride, we do consider ourselves as a national premier nursing program, a nursing school based on excellence in education, research, and public service, as well as the diversity of the students that come here and the diversity of program offerings within the Division of Nursing. Next slide. Our values are very simple: sensitivity, compassion, empathy, being willing to provide a really good education to any individual, regardless of where they come from. We are committed to protecting the safety of our public and making sure that our customers and our other constituencies are satisfied with the services that we provide. Next slide. So our undergraduate nursing program here at WSSU, and this is specific to our pre-licensure program, consists of 2 units. We talk about lower division. At the lower division, that's our students' first and second year at WSSU, freshman, sophomore year. If you could go back, yeah. Those are students who have declared nursing as a major but have not yet been admitted into the upper division. In that lower division unit, we have a program called Guaranteed Admission Program, short GAP, and it's designed specifically for students who chose WSSU as their first option for a nursing program and who come to WSSU as a freshman. These students are looked at the end of their freshman year, and based on certain criteria, if they meet those criteria and sustain those criteria throughout their first and second year, they are guaranteed a seat in upper division without having to apply for a seat in the upper division. And then, of course, the upper division are those students who are applying at the end of their sophomore year to the senior year upper division. It's very competitive. There is an application process that's separate from being just admitted to the university. You have to actually apply to the Division of Nursing, and you have to meet those admission requirements. Next slide, please. A part of the admission requirements would be that the student has completed the general education. Could you go back, please? General education core requirements, which include the prerequisite courses. And those, we would encourage you, if you are still working on your gen eds or prereqs, that you incorporate those. You can certainly do that at Wake Tech and have those courses transferred to WSSU. Next slide, please. So in addition to your general education requirements, that's 60 hours that's required by Winston-Salem State University, these are the nursing prerequisites that are required for our pre-licensure program. Your anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, microbiology, and chemistry. And all of these sciences must have an accompanying lab. Statistics, lifespan, or developmental psychology. NUR 2313 is the only course that you must take here at WSSU. The others you certainly can, but you can take those at Wake Tech and have those transferred in. 2313 is our foundational course. It's what our curriculum is built on, and so that course must be taken here at WSSU. There are prerequisites to that course, the sciences, and depending upon the term that you come to WSSU will determine the number of those prerequisites that are required before you can be enrolled in that 2313, Introduction to Professional Nursing. Next slide, please. So minimum admission requirement for our pre-licensure program. Now, these are at minimum admission requirements as of today. We are in the process of looking at admission criteria and adopting a holistic admission process. If you are planning to apply during the next cycle for our traditional pre-licensure program, then these are the minimum admission requirements for that program currently. For our post-licensure program, which is our RN to BSN program, the requirements there are a little different there. As you can see, we do not require standardized tests for post-licensure, but you must have successfully completed your NCLEX RN and have an unrestricted and active North Carolina license for RN to BSN. There are, however, 4 prerequisite courses, and many of those courses have already been completed in your associate's degree. And there is a minimum of 51 transferable hours that are required, including gen ed hours and prerequisite hours, before you can fully gain admission into the RN to BSN program. That RN to BSN option provides a full-time track, which is 3 semesters, 1 year, and a part-time track, which is 5 academic semesters. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Just to note that admission to the university does not guarantee admission to the nursing program. As I mentioned earlier, there is a separate application process to the upper divisions. And so you must certainly meet at least those minimum admission requirements in order to be considered. And simply meeting those minimum criteria, again, doesn't guarantee admission to upper division. Just like all other programs, it is a very competitive program here at WSSU. Next slide, please. These are some of the factors that we consider as we look at the applicant pool to determine the next cohort of students. Certainly, your prerequisite grades, your science grades, we look at first time pass. The minimum first time pass for any of our prerequisites is a C. If you have to repeat a science course or a prereq course, then that you are no longer considered a priority candidate. It does not mean that you cannot apply, but you are not a priority candidate. Standardized tests, and then of course meeting or exceeding the cumulative GPA. Next slide, please. So stay tuned for updates to the admission process for upper division. Again, if you're planning to apply this next admission cycle, that application portal will open up in mid-October. We will accept applications until January 31st. If you are selected, then you will start in the summer, which means you have to be here at WSSU in the spring if you're not already here, taking NUR 2313. Next slide, please. So our goal is to certainly unleash the genius, not only in our students, but also in our faculty and staff. We certainly want to make sure that we create an environment and a culture of inclusivity and diversity and belongingness, which are certainly priorities for the university. Next slide, please. Our strategic priority, again, is success for all of our students. We're certainly proud of our 3-year first-time pass rate of 90%. Next slide, please. And thank you. Welcome to, and we hope that you will become a part of the Ramily. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Winston-Salem State. That was cool at the end, the Ramily, if you didn't catch that, family. That was cute. All right, next up, we are going to have UNC Wilmington join us in just a second. All right, take it away. Mark, I think you might be muted.
Thank you for that. So my name is Mark. I'm from UNC Wilmington. So everything we're going to talk about is on the website, so you can check that out. But let's jump into the Simulation Learning Center. So you can actually walk through our halls kind of virtually, but you can come through and you can kind of go into a room and look around and see all the different stuff. We got the mannequins there. So it's kind of neat experience that you can actually see as if you were in the room. So you can check out all the different sim labs. I won't go into all of them, but I wanted to show you this one. So jumping into admissions. So we, a little bit different than some of the other programs that you might be hearing from today. We are 5 semesters of nursing classes and 3 semesters of pre-nursing. That may change though. So again, check the website to see for any updates. But we have the first 2 semesters. You've got 5 minimum courses. I'll talk about what those are here in a second. But we do an application in July as well as December 15th. So you've got 2 start dates per year. So the July application would be to start in a spring semester. The December application is to start in fall. So to kind of walk you through how that works, you would have your first 2 semesters. You would apply, be admitted at that point. Your 3rd semester, I kind of call it a gap semester, but basically what you're doing there is taking additional prerequisites and general education requirements. And then you start your nursing classes here in this 4th semester, along with finishing out some of the nursing prerequisites. And then again, you're going from then on in, you've got all nursing classes. From time of application, it is 3 years to graduation, so kind of keeping that in mind. Those 5 minimum courses, again, we do have all prerequisites have to be completed by that first semester in nursing, but the 5 minimum courses, you have to have a chemistry, psychology, sociology, or economics. You need 1 biology course, so that's going to be cell biology, anatomy and physiology, or microbiology, so you just need 1 of those. And either math or stats. Usually students will come in with college algebra, but it could be statistics as well. And then you have to complete the TEAS assessment. So we do have an admissions test. And then here are the weights for those. So the math and science prerequisite GPA, we give that 50% of the weight. Non-math and science is 25% of the weight. And then the TEAS is 25% of the weight. So something to note with that is that our application is 100% what you're seeing here. We don't have anything else at this point. So we don't have an extra essay or an interview or other points going to other things, which does make it easy to determine whether or not you're going to be admitted. But ultimately, this is what we're looking at. Again, these are all of the prerequisites. You only need the 5 to make an application. However, we will look at all of them. If you've completed additional coursework, that's fine. Helps get you further ahead, but you only need the 5. So I said that it's pretty easy to determine whether you're going to get admitted. So this is our what you need to be competitive page, and you'll see here this is our last cohort, and we do publish the data. I think it goes back maybe 4 years. We do publish the data. So of our students that applied this last cohort, you can see the average math science prerequisite GPAs, the non-math science, the TEAS prerequisite GPA. And we put all that into a total score. I won't pull it up, but it's basically, it's a calculator. You can put your grades and your TEAS score in there and see what your total score is and compare that against the averages as well as the lowest 10%. So what we're doing here is we're trying to give you an idea of if you had, say, your total score comes out to be an 86, you can kind of say, well, that's not in a competitive realm. But as we're getting closer to that 94 and above for this cohort, we can start to see, okay, it's going to give me confidence to know that I'm a competitive student for this program. Again, we've got the spring start and the fall start. And so you see the different numbers, and you can scroll back through there to see all that. We do list, and hopefully you've got this already, but we do list how the courses transfer into UNCW, and so you can see, so for example, on our website where it says Bio 201, that's your Bio 111. I do want to make mention, and this isn't official yet, but we are considering going to 4 semesters of pre-nursing and then 4 semesters in nursing. So instead of the 3 and the 5, doing the 4 and the 4. And so that will obviously change all of our admissions. It'll change a lot of what I'm sharing right now. So always come back to our website to see all of that information. We'll probably have some information here to say, the things have been updated. If that takes place, most likely that's going to take place for our fall of 2023. So that means the December 2022 application, that would then change. So if you are planning on applying December 2022 or later, there may be some big changes. If you're earlier, we're definitely keeping to what I've shared so far. You can also see the NCLEX pass rate and click on the website if you want to see more. If you do want to dive more into UNCW's nursing program, there is a lengthier webinar that you can check out. But most of the information that we've been sharing, so we've got the admissions information, what you need to be competitive, the TEAS information, and then the North Carolina Community College equivalents. We do have some FAQs. And then also here, this was where I found the suggested sequence of courses. Here's that Simulation Learning Center link. And then if you do need to contact us, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can shoot us an email or give us a call. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, UNC Wilmington. Okay, so next up we have East Carolina University. Just be sure to hold your questions. We're almost to the end here. I hope you all are enjoying, and we will go ahead and share ECU with you momentarily.
Okay, can everyone see the website?
Yes, Laura, we can see it.
Okay, wonderful. So I just wanted to say thank you to Wake Tech for allowing me to share a bit about our nursing program. So we are located in Greenville, North Carolina, and we are the largest undergraduate program in the state. Our traditional BSN program, which is probably what most of you are interested in, is a highly competitive program. But we do also have an RN to BSN program if you're interested in that route. But going back to our traditional BSN program, we do accept 130 students every fall and spring semester, and we typically get about 200 to 250 applicants each cycle. So students typically will apply when they are in that final semester of prerequisites. And our two deadlines are February 1st to start in the fall, and then September 1st to start in the spring. Just a few highlights that we like to pride ourselves on. Number one is our NCLEX pass rate. We are well above the national average. We consistently have between a 98 and a 99% first-time pass rate. And this exam is very important because you not only want to graduate from a nursing program, but you also want to be able to pass that national exam to be able to practice as a nurse. And we are also an NLN Center of Excellence. All right, so I'm going to move along to our curriculum plan. And all of this can be found on our website at nursing.ecu.edu. There are 2 years of prerequisite courses, and you can see those listed there in the freshman year and the sophomore year. We do require 2 chemistries, 2 anatomies and physiologies, a microbiology, and a college algebra course. I call those kind of the meat of your prerequisites. We want you to do well and well the first time around. And you can choose to take almost all of your prerequisites at Wake Tech if you wanted to, or you can transfer to ECU and take some. The only one listed there that would not be offered at Wake Tech is the Choice Student Writing Intensive Elective. So we do have a page on our website that shows the exact equivalent of courses that would match up for if you were wanting to take courses at Wake Tech. So like, for example, our English 1100, what you would want to take at Wake Tech would be English 111. Okay, so what do we look at for admission? So we look at completion of the prerequisites, we look at our ranking formula, and we also require a HESI pre-admission exam. So I'm going to briefly touch on the ranking formula. As you can see, it's heavily weighted upon cumulative GPA, and we will take your GPA from all colleges and universities attended. The rank that you want to be striving for is a rank of 12 or higher, because that has been our competitive rank for the past few semesters. Typically, our average GPA for admission falls between a 3.4 and a 3.8 cumulative GPA. And as you can see, there are other ways to get points, such as doing well in your science courses and your college algebra courses. And you would also receive a transfer point if you come to ECU and complete 12 hours prior to applying. So the next step would be our HESI pre-admission exam. So this exam would need to be completed prior to your deadline. Most students take it in their sophomore year. There are 5 subtest areas on the exam, and those are reading comprehension, vocab and general knowledge, basic math, biology, and anatomy and physiology. We typically recommend for our students not to take that first attempt until they have completed their first A&P course, because we do see if students have to take it a second go around, it's typically because of that A&P section. And we are looking for a 75 or higher in each of the 5 subtest areas. So if you are interested in our program, I highly encourage you to sign up for an information session. So we've got a lot of information sessions listed here for fall. So if you attended one of these, it would be a more in-depth information session, and you would also have the opportunity to view some of our practice labs. We do have virtual and face-to-face info sessions. Also, if you are interested in our program, we encourage you to complete an unofficial transcript review. So you can submit this to our nursing advisors, and you'll receive back a letter indicating exactly what prerequisites you have left and where you stand in terms of admission to our program. And lastly, I know UNCW said they have this, but we have this too, a little exploration in our simulation labs. And so that's an example of one of them. This is one of my favorites, the operating room. A lot of stuff going on in there, as you can see. But that's about that wraps it up for me. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, East Carolina. Thank you to everyone. You all did a fabulous job. We're so happy that you spent your time this morning with us. At this time, for those of you who are watching the event, we will be opening up the question and answer queue. We do have plenty of time now. This event does go until into the afternoon. So please be sure to ask any questions that you might have. I know we kind of sped through the presentations because we weren't sure. So please just gather your questions. We will go in a certain order. If you're asking a general question, we're going to allow for each school to respond, and we're going to go in the order that they presented. So it'll be Campbell, UNC Charlotte, Winston-Salem State, UNC Wilmington, and East Carolina. And we will go ahead and start with a few questions that we already have. Let's see here. All right, Mike, and take it away.
Okay, so the first question is, what is the average GPA that students that are admitted to your program have?
So I guess I'll start. So here at Campbell, the average GPA overall would be in the 3.6 range. And then for our nursing students, it's a little lower at 3.4. And if a student does
One moment, everyone. It looks like we might be having some technical difficulties.
Uh-oh, I think we're having some technical difficulties. Give us 1 second, everybody.
Let's go ahead and come back to Campbell. We will ask the same question to UNC Charlotte next.
Hi, at UNC Charlotte, for the past, probably the last year, probably students who are competitive tend to have a 3.75 or higher for admission. And that's on the prerequisite GPA, not the cumulative GPA.
All right, and what about Winston-Salem State?
Yes, for Winston-Salem State, because we have a number of different pathways in our pre-licensure program, for the traditional pathway, which would include our LPN to BSN as well as our paramedic to BSN options, the average cumulative GPA for that population of students is typically around a 2.8 to about a 3.0. For our ABSN applicants, those students' cumulative GPA tend to be a little bit higher. And so to be competitive for that program, you generally have to have at least a 3.4 GPA to be competitive.
All right, and at UNC Wilmington?
Yeah, so our minimum GPA is 2.7 for the cumulative. We don't really look beyond that. So as long as you have a 2.7, you're good. What we're really looking at is the prerequisite GPAs. And although they do range from semester to semester, they've been kind of fairly similar over the last few semesters. So we're looking at around a 3.95 or a 3.99 as the average GPAs for the previous cohorts.
All right, and ECU.
So for us, ours typically ranges between a 3.4 to a 3.8. That doesn't mean that a 3.3, wouldn't be accepted, but you would just have to make up for other points on the ranking formula, such as getting biology bonus points, things like that.
All right, thank you everyone for your responses. Mike, do you want to ask the next question?
Sure, and some of you touched on this already, but what are the prerequisite courses that must be completed before applying? And are there certain grade requirements in those prerequisite courses?
All right, take it away, James.
I'll try to do this without the power going out again. As far as the prerequisites, for pre-nursing, they're gonna mirror a lot of what our GCC requires. Basic English, math, in addition to statistics, and then of course students will have to complete basic biology, A&P 1 and 2, and microbiology. In addition to that, because we are a Christian university, we do have Intro to Christianity as a requirement for pre-nursing.
Okay, at UNC Charlotte, we have 12 prerequisite courses: English composition, sociology or anthropology, college algebra, statistics, chemistry 1 with lab, chemistry 2 with lab, A&P 1 with lab, A&P 2 with lab, nutrition, and growth and development. We do have grade requirements for the science courses and the nutrition and growth and development, and we require a B or better.
All right, thank you. And Winston-Salem State?
Yes, at Winston-Salem State, there are 6 prerequisites: Anatomy and Physiology 1, Anatomy and Physiology 2, General Chemistry or Chemistry for Healthcare Majors, and Microbiology. And each of those science courses must have an accompanying lab. There is also Developmental Psychology and Statistics. But there is also one nursing prereq, which is NUR 2313, Introduction to Professional Nursing. All of those prerequisites require a minimum grade of at least a C. I mentioned earlier the GAP program, same prerequisites, but in order to be considered as a GAP student, again, you have to be a first-time freshman, and all of those grades and those prerequisites must be at least a B or better.
All right, thank you. And at Wilmington.
Yeah, so our minimum grade for our prerequisites is a C. However, keep in mind that because the average GPAs are so high, C is not more realistic. You're probably wanting to get closer to a high B or an A. But the 5 minimum to apply, that's going to be chemistry, psychology, sociology, or economics. And then one of our biology prerequisites, so cell biology, anatomy and physiology, and or microbiology. And then the last one is going to be either math or statistics. Math typically will be college algebra, but it could be calculus, again, just a college math there, or statistics.
Thank you. And ECU?
Okay, so for us, all 2 years of prerequisites are required when the student applies. The key ones, I guess you could say, would be our 2 chemistries, our 2 anatomies, microbiology, and college algebra. We do require a C or better in all of those. We would love to see a B or better because that is another way that you could get extra points on the ranking formula.
All right, thank you for answering that question. And Mike, let's move on to the next question.
Sure. So do the prerequisite courses need to be completed within a certain time frame, for example, within 5 years of the application?
Currently, we don't have a, time frame for prerequisites as long as they're completed and you meet the other requirements for the BSN program, then we will accept them. And again, of course, they need to be B or higher. We will take 1C.
At UNC Charlotte, we do not have a time frame. The university accepts those credits as they're transferable. We do require that those prerequisites be completed by the end of the semester prior to entry.
At WSSU, there is a 7-year requirement for our sciences. So the science course prerequisites have to be taken within the 7 years prior to applying for our pre-licensure programs, our tracks. For the RN to BSN option, there is no time frame for the sciences. There is no time frame for the other prerequisites, statistics, or developmental psychology.
UNCW, the math and science prerequisites do need to be completed within 10 years. The non-math and science prerequisites do not have a time frame.
ECU does not have a time frame on prerequisites.
Okay, so moving right along, what does the application process look like, and would students need to do a separate nursing program application in addition to the general transfer admissions application?
Thank you, Mike. So as I mentioned in my presentation, students are required to complete the general transfer application. So that would be the free online application in addition to your official transcripts or any other supplemental items. Students that are selected for the nursing program will have to complete a separate application, which of course would be their general application. There is an admissions interview and then also a written assessment as well.
At UNC Charlotte, there are 2 applications, one to the university and one to the School of Nursing. The School of Nursing application is online. It's available typically a month or so before the application deadlines, and it consists of you basically providing us different demographic and information, and also we have other criteria besides GPA, which we look at volunteer hours, we look at essay questions, and that information is all in that one application.
At WSSU, there's a two-step application process, one to the university and number two to the Division of Nursing. The Division of Nursing application is on the Division of Nursing's website. That portal for our traditional program will open mid-October and it will close January 1.
At UNCW, you do need to be an admitted UNCW student. However, you do not need to take classes at UNCW, so you just have to be admitted. And then there is a separate nursing application. It is extremely simple though, because we're using the grades and the T-score. We pull all that information. So really the application, I joke sometimes, I say if it takes you longer than 2 minutes, you've done something wrong. It really is just going to ask for your name, contact information, and we follow up after that.
For ECU, it is a two-part application process, so you do apply ahead of time to ECU admissions. That's an online application. We do like the students to be admitted to ECU, but again, you don't have to be currently enrolled in courses. And then our nursing application is online as well. That is through ECU Academic Works, and we will require you to attach unofficial transcripts and your HESI scores.
Okay, so do you have any test requirements that must be completed before applying, for example, the TEAS test? If so, can you share any other specifics about those requirements?
Here at Campbell University, we don't have any additional test requirements prior to applying to the nursing program.
At UNC Charlotte, we also do not have any pre-admission testing.
At Winston-Salem State, currently, we do require either the SAT or the ACT, not the composite or total score. On the SAT, we're looking at the verbal critical reading, and on the ACT, the English component. SAT 500 verbal critical reading, ACT 19 or greater on the English. I will remind you, stay tuned. We will be updating our admission requirement, and that will possibly eliminate the SAT or ACT, but it may add the TEAS test.
At UNCW, we do have the TEAS test. There is no minimum. I will say that you can take it up to 4 times in total, but you can only take it once per test administration period, once per application cycle. So you can't take it today and then try and take it again tomorrow. It's once per application cycle for the TEAS.
And for ECU, we do require the HESI pre-admission exam. We're looking for a 75 or higher on each of the 5 subtest areas. It doesn't matter if you get a 76 or a 96. We're not kind of looking at for a higher number. You'll get the check mark for that portion if you get at least a 75. And the test is through Prometric testing centers. So there is one, there's probably a few located in Raleigh, so you don't have to come to Greenville to take that test.
Okay, so getting into prereq specifics, if a student has taken Bio 175, but your program requires Bio 275, what would you recommend them to do? Or vice versa?
So for us here at Campbell, we do require 275, biology 275. So we would actually ask that student to take that specific course so that would be eligible for entry into the program.
At UNC Charlotte, for our pre-licensure program, we would request the 275. However, for our RN to BSN, we would accept the 175.
At WSSU, we too would prefer the 275, but if a student did take 175 and there's proof that there was a lab attached, then we will do a curriculum adjustment and accept it.
At UNCW, we accept both Bio 175 and 275. I do want to highlight, I know this wasn't part of the question, but chemistry, sometimes I do see students transferring with a course other than Chem 151, and that is one that we do stick to. So you need Chem 151.
What I would encourage you to do for ECU is to do that unofficial transcript review, because there are some substitutions that we could make for the 175, but what we would have to do is look at your transcripts and see, do you have any other science labs that we could pull from? So until we see those transcripts, I couldn't say it's a guarantee, but the 275 is what's recommended.
Okay, so for transfer students, are they required to submit ACT or SAT scores if they haven't completed the associate's degree for the admissions process?
For our transfer students, we do not require any standardized test scores.
I'm going to let Caitlin answer that for UNC Charlotte.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Lynch. We would not require the SAT or the ACT for our transfer applicants.
WSSU admission criteria is for all students applying to our program, including transfer students. So we would need to have those scores submitted.
So UNCW, I don't know. Well, the nursing program does not. Jessica, do you want to answer about the overall university?
Yeah, I can take that. For transfer students, we don't require SAT or ACT scores as part of the application process.
ECU does not require ACT or SAT for transfer students.
Okay, great. So we have some students looking at the ABSN programs. How many students are accepted into those programs per year compared to the BSN option?
Here at Campbell University, the only program that we're going to be offering right now is the BSN program.
UNC Charlotte does not have an accelerated program.
Winston-Salem State University accepts 45 applicants each year. We typically will get about 200 applicants for 45 seats, and we only bring them in once a year. Those students will always start in the spring semester. The application period the portal will open in July. The deadline for application is September 1.
At UNCW, we don't have an accelerated program. Our BSN program does admit 60 students both in the fall and the spring, so 120 students per year.
ECU's accelerated BSN program accepts roughly 25 to 30 once a year, and it is a fast-paced program. Face-to-face program, and then that's versus our traditional, which we accept 130 every fall and spring.
Okay, and so for students who get their RN through Wake Tech, how would they go about the admissions process to BSN?
Here at Campbell, I'm with main campus, but you can go to online.campbell.edu and apply to the RN to BSN program. The requirements will be different from main campus, but we have individuals who can walk you through that process.
At UNC Charlotte, we request that students send us a copy of their transcript so we can see what exactly they have. Someone in the School of Nursing will look at that. We can tell you exactly what courses you have, if you have any left over. Most students like to stay at their community college, so we would tell you exactly what course at Wake Tech you could need to take, and then we would go through the application process at that time.
At WSSU, the students will simply, if they already have the RN from Wake Tech, they will simply apply to Winston-Salem State University's admissions and identify that they are interested in the RN to BSN option. There is not a separate application for RN to BSN, the RN to BSN option. They simply apply to WSSU, identify their RN to BSN student, provide evidence, their license number, that they indeed have a license. And then our RN to BSN admissions coordinator will meet with the admissions department weekly to look at those applicants.
So at UNCW, our R&D BSN program admissions is very, very different than the BSN. So looking at all the prerequisites, students don't need to have those completed. They can complete those in the program. So it is a general application to the university. We do have 6 start dates per year. The program is all online. And again, you can take those other courses, like for example, if you didn't take microbiology in your ADN, you could take that within the program.
Sorry, forgot it was my turn. Okay, so for our RN to BSN, it is not a very competitive program. We would encourage you to do the unofficial transcript request just so that we can make sure that you do have all the prerequisites, but more than likely you would have all of them due to completing that RN at Wake Tech. And that is a fully online program. You can complete it in 16 months.
Okay. So as it relates to the sequence, for example, at UNCW, that 3-semester sequence of prereqs, how does that affect students who are transferring in with the prereq?
One moment, everyone. Thanks for your patience.
We're having some technical difficulties. Give us just a moment, please. Anthony, it looks like we lost Mike for a moment. Are you able to read the question?
Absolutely. Give me 1 second. I was reading some of them in our Q&A session that I haven't published yet, so I kind of lost track a little bit. Hold on. Okay. Which question did we leave off from?
Anthony, it looks like it's the one it kind of started for UNCW about the 3-semester sequence. And I can read it.
Yes. Okay. So after, so we already that's the one we previously had, right? So the next one after that. Oh, is that the one that Mike was reading?
Yep. That's the one.
Okay. So basically, for UNCW, it was mentioned that there was a 3-semester sequence of prereqs and then 5 semesters of nursing. But what about transfer students who already have prereqs completed?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot. And so for students that have had more prerequisites completed, we will look at all of those on the application. I think the main question here is, though, am I still going to be looking at 3 years to graduation? And currently the answer is yes. There is no way to speed up the program, even though you've got these additional prerequisites. Again, I want to mention that we may be transitioning to a 4-semester 4-semester in the nursing program. So that may be changing, but currently you would still be, from time of application, looking at 3 years to graduation.
All right, next question. Amanda or Anthony, take it away.
All right. So will the seminar be available for later to review again?
Anthony, I can go ahead and answer that. We are recording this session, so it will be available about 1 week after the event. It's expected to be posted on our Wake Tech Advising Student video page on YouTube, and I'm putting the link in reply to that question, but I think everyone should be able to see the link and access it. If you also signed up for the event, I will email you the recording link 1 week later as well.
All right, so our next question is basically for all the schools, and it is, do any of the schools require you to get your CNA prior to transferring?
So here at Campbell University, we don't require the CNA for the nursing portion of the program.
At UNC Charlotte, we do require all students to be on the CNA registry prior to classes starting for the semester that you were admitted. So you don't have to have it prior to transfer, but you do have to have it prior to School of Nursing entry.
At WSSU, the CNA is not required, although we do make arrangements once students have completed a certain course that they are able to apply for CNA listing 1, and that's after they've completed the foundational courses that summer. While it still is not required for the program, if they are interested in any intern or externships, they're oftentimes required. So not only do we make it available to them, they can also, after completing their first semester at the junior level, can even sit for the CNA 2.
At UNCW, we do not require the CNA.
For ECU, we do not require the CNA.
All right, next question.
Okay, so this is for all the schools again, and do you recommend students to take Chem 151, 152, or would 131 and 132 be enough?
So here at Campbell, we have 4 sciences that are required. That's going to be basic biology, A&P 1 and 2 with lab, and then also microbiology. So chemistry is not one of our required sciences.
At UNC Charlotte, the School of Nursing will accept either sequence 131 and 132 or 151 and 152. It is important you take the same sequence. So you need to have the 131 and 132. We don't want you to mix up 131 and then take 152. It needs to be the same sequence, but we'll take either.
At WSSU, we prefer 151, but we will look at and consider 131.
At UNCW, we will only look at 151, so it must be 151.
At ECU, we will accept either sequence 131 and 132 or 151, 152. But we would like it to be the same sequence. Don't mix match it.
All right. So what is the typical age group of people that graduate with their AAS or BSN for nursing?
So I think that, that will definitely range. I would say at Campbell, especially when we're looking at transfer students, you can have a transfer student that's 19, and I've seen, if we look at our BSN program more recently, we've had someone in their 40s graduate from that program. So it definitely ranges, especially when we start to get into like military folks. So again, it's kind of across the board.
I would say the same is similar at UNC Charlotte. There's going to be a range. Predominantly, we do get traditional college students who come in at 18 or 19 as freshmen and they graduate at 22. But we've had students who graduated from our nursing program who were in their 50s. So it can really be anything, just like Campbell.
Our WSSU will have to echo that. Our student population is probably very similar in terms of age as pretty much most of the other schools.
And UNCW would give the same answer. The vast majority of our students are traditional age, but we do have some that are a little even younger, and then some that are older.
Same for ECU. It's going to be a wide range. Again, typical, traditional, but we do have a wide range.
All right. So are high school transcripts needed even after 20 years?
As I mentioned before, if we're looking at pre-nursing students, if you've earned less than 24 hours at the college level, then we would require high school transcripts for that portion. But other than that, if you are a student coming in with an associate's degree or more than 24 credits from another institution, high school transcripts are not required.
I will let Caitlin answer that one for the university.
Yeah, no problem. So for general admission, we do typically, like, your application is going to show that the high school transcript is required. We are certainly being flexible with students who have 24 or more credit hours. So if you are having challenges obtaining that high school transcript, definitely don't let it hold you up in the application process, and feel free to let our admissions office know, and we're happy to work with the student through that process.
For the Division of Nursing, application to the Upper Division of Nursing, high school transcripts are not required.
At UNCW, we don't require it for the nursing application, but for the general application, it is needed to determine your foreign language requirement at UNCW. So I don't know if it's required, but it would be, it is needed for that portion.
I can answer that, Mark. For the university application, it is required. If you have more than 24 credit hours, you can apply without submitting the high school transcript, but if you decide to enroll at UNCW, then you will have to submit it.
For ECU, if you have 24 hours of transferable college level coursework, then you would not have to submit the high school transcripts.
All right. So next question. If interested in RN to BSN, but RN was completed or obtained 18 years ago, is that a problem?
As I mentioned before, for our RN and BSN program, it's handled through our adult and online education campus. So if you have that question or if you pose it to me, I would just, again, have you meet with one of the advisors over there to answer that question.
For UNC Charlotte, how long you've been a nurse is not relevant. We will look at your transcripts of where you took your nursing degree 18 years ago, and we would love to have you. And we have lots of students who have 2 months experience and those who have 25 or 30 years experience. So this is very common, and most of the schools, I'm sure, who have RN to BSN programs are very used to looking at transcripts and helping the student navigate that process.
I would echo that. As long as the student has met the general education requirements for the university and the prerequisite requirements for the RN to BSN option here at WSSU, the length of how long they've been in RN is not a factor.
At UNCW, we do not have a time frame for the RN to BSN program for the licensure or the courses. Obviously, you have to have an active license currently, but we don't. There's no time frame requirement.
That wouldn't be an issue for ECU either. It doesn't matter.
right, so next question. If you are currently a CNA, will that give you an advantage with the admissions process?
I would have to say no here at Campbell because it's not one of our basic requirements for the nursing program.
At UNC Charlotte, CNA is required. However, the advantage is we have a requirement, or we have an optional requirement, that you can get extra consideration if you've completed 50 hours of volunteer service or work hours. So if you work as a CNA for 50 hours, it will help you in your application process and give you more points in the formula.
Currently at WSSU, no, it does not give you an edge over any of the other applicants. But again, I would encourage you to stay tuned as we refine our holistic admission process. You may find in the future that having a CNA will award you a certain amount of points as we look at the applicant pool.
At UNCW, having a CNA does not give you any extra points. Again, we're only looking at the prerequisite grades and T-score.
At ECU, having a CNA will not provide an advantage. We are only looking at completion of the prerequisites, our ranking formula, and the HESI pre-admission exam.
All right. So this question is for Winston-Salem State University. When doing 2 years at a community college and then transferring to WSSU, for your last 2 years, do you get accepted into the nursing program? How long until you graduate with your associate's degree in nursing?
WSSU does not offer an associate's degree in nursing. So if you came to WSSU, the entry level here is the baccalaureate degree. In the upper division, it takes 5 semesters to complete the upper division. And that's where that's where the major lies, in the upper division.
All right, that concludes our Q&A session right there. That was the last question.
All right, thank you everyone who asked questions today. We do know that questions, will pop up possibly after the session. So hopefully you all were able to jot down the school that you're interested in's contact information. Otherwise, of course, you can always contact one of us at Wake Tech. Again, my name is Blair Turpin. My email address, I will have someone put in the chat because for some reason I can't see it. And I'm going to let Amanda introduce herself briefly to just kind of go over and sort of end this event. We really want to thank all the schools that participated today. You all did a great job, and we're so happy that you're one of our partners. Take it away, Amanda.
Thank you to all the university representatives today who were able to join. We're very grateful, and we hope that all the students took a lot from this session. We know that they will. Thank you for answering the questions that were submitted by our students. At this time, you all are welcome to leave the event as you've answered all those questions. And then we are going to have a short intermission before the Perry Health Science campus advising admissions join the event. So I just want to say thank you again, and I'll go ahead and have a brief intermission. You all can go to the bathroom, grab a snack, all the students watching, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. We welcome to our second half of the nursing information session today, September 29th. We're very happy to have you all. I will be introducing our Wake Tech program at the Perry Health Science campus. This is pertaining to an associate degree in nursing, and there's some also other pathways that they will discuss with you. Today we have Shelly St. Aubin with us, and we've got Sharon or Beth Walters. So I will go ahead and let them take the floor. I will start with Beth, I believe.
Yes, I go by my middle name, Beth. Thank you so much for the producers, Blair and Amanda, and to Shelly for developing our PowerPoint and being our moderator today. And welcome to our session. It's a lot of information because we like to share different pathways as well as the admissions process for our nursing programs. I have actually worked in this position for over 11 years now, and I'm responsible for nursing program admission. And Shelly, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yep, I'm right down there. So I've been at Wake Tech for about 20, and I've only ever worked with health science programs. So I've worked with all of them. So hopefully between Beth and I, we can answer your questions about the Wake Tech nursing program and the different pathways that Wake Tech offers. So
okay,
we are ready. So
yeah,
we surprised our presenters with a new PowerPoint about 30 minutes ago. So I'm sure they're pleased with us, but hopefully we've added a few things that maybe will be helpful.
Yeah.
So we should be on slide 3. Hopefully. Do I have control over it, or?
No, I'm getting it up 1 second.
Well, slide 3, Beth could probably repeat this in her sleep. How do you become a nurse? So if someone wants to work as a nurse, what's just the basic stuff they got to do, Beth?
Yeah, you have to graduate from an North Carolina Board of Nursing or an approved accredited nursing program. There are many different options. Most of our North Carolina community colleges do offer the associate degree in nursing. And I believe we'll have another slide pertaining to that. But after you graduate, you actually take the National Council license exam to become a licensed or registered nurse. And you'll see that we now have 2 different programs, which we'll discuss further, to become an LPN, a licensed practical nurse, or an RN, a registered nurse. And you can find more information about accredited programs offered at the North Carolina Board of Nursing. You will see that there are many 4-year colleges that offer the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and I know that you had representatives from several of those schools in the presentation earlier today. But once you get your licensure, then you're able to work as a nurse. So there are many pathways to become an RN. There are paramedic to RN programs where you would be required to complete an EMS program, which is an emergency medical science program. There are paramedic to RN programs currently available through Mitchell Community College, Lenore Community College, and Bladen Community College. Wake Tech does not offer paramedic to RN, but we do have the EMS program, and our graduates are eligible for the national certification to become a paramedic. Wake Tech is offering our first practical nursing program, which begins in the spring. This is a diploma option, which typically takes 1 year to complete the actual nursing courses. And then there is a LPN to RN completion program, which many of the community colleges offer, including Wake Tech. So you would continue to complete another year to earn that associate degree in nursing, and then take your license exam to become a registered nurse, an RN. The associate degree in nursing, you would complete the nursing classes offered at a community college like Wake Tech, and then there are options to complete an RN to BSN, and we'll talk about that a little later. And then there is the traditional Bachelor of Science in Nursing, where you can complete your university transfer general courses that will transfer to a four-year college, and you would complete your last 2 years of actual nursing courses that include theory, lab, and clinicals during your junior, senior year at the four-year college, like ECU, UNC Wilmington, Winston-Salem State, Campbell. And there's, I believe, about 12 different state universities in North Carolina that have the BSN, and then multiple private four-year colleges. So you would graduate with the BSN, and then you would take your National Council License Exam, your NCLEX, to become a registered nurse. Okay, health science programs at Wake Tech. I mentioned we do have the associate degree for emergency medical science, but Wake Tech does not offer the paramedic to RN. But you saw on a previous slide, there's several community colleges that have that. Practical nursing diploma starts this spring. For the first time, spring 22, you would take your nursing classes at Wake Tech, take the NCLEX, that national license exam, pass, and you'll become a licensed practical nurse. Most of the LPN employment opportunities will be in assisted living, long-term care, retirement homes, rehab facilities. Currently, our major hospitals, to my knowledge, are not hiring LPNs. The Associate in Applied Science degree in nursing, otherwise known as the ADN or Associate Degree Nursing, you would take those nursing courses at Wake Tech. We are fortunate to have a large program. We start every fall, mid-August, every spring, which is early January. You take the license exam for RN, pass, and you become an RN, a registered nurse. And then you'll be able to enter into the workforce as a registered nurse. Wake Tech also offers the LPN to RN program. We call this our advanced placement option for LPNs. You have to be an LPN, and then you would complete 3 terms of nursing a year. Program starts in the summer only. Then you would have the following spring and fall. So you would start mid-May, and then actually fall, and then the following spring. So you would start mid-May and then graduate the following early May. Then you're eligible to take the license exam to become a registered nurse. So we do offer that program every summer. Okay, admission to Wake Tech's nursing programs. We do offer, as I reviewed, the associate degree nursing, the LPN to associate degree, and now the new practical nursing program beginning in spring. So there's 2 phases. Pre-nursing, you would actually, apply to Wake Tech, send your transcripts in, and I believe we have a slide that will cover all of that information. But basically, as a pre-nursing student, you are taking your non-nursing courses that are part of the associate degree in nursing. Those include your Englishes, psychology, sociologies, humanities, all of your bio courses that include anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 and micro. And we'll look at that a little bit more in depth later. And then phase 2 is after you have applied to our associate degree nursing program or practical nursing program, submit the nursing program application. It is a competitive entry process for admission because we always have more applicants than we have seats available. So you'll see later that we look at the grades that you earn and your T-score to award points. And then if your points are competitive for acceptance, then you will begin the actual nursing courses that include theory, labs, and clinical experience. Next slide, please. Yeah, so nursing program entry, talked a little bit about this already, but it is a point-based competitive process. And just because you apply to the program doesn't mean you'll be accepted. Typically, we'll have over 200 applicants, and we may have average 75 students that we can accept to our traditional associate degree nursing program. And students are not required to complete any non-clinical courses before applying to the nursing program, but we have to be realistic. In order to be competitive and have enough points for acceptance, most of our students do have at least 8 or all 9 of the general education courses completed, usually with a good combination of A's and B's, and we'll look at those details in a little bit. Next slide, please. Okay, this might be a little hard to see, but this is our associate degree nursing program planning guide, and you will see the courses in bold are what we call our general courses. We also refer to those as our pre-nursing courses. So your anatomy and physiology, psychologies, English, sociology, humanities. You see that they are required for the associate degree in nursing to graduate, but realistically, you'll have all of those courses in bold completed ahead of time. That's how you earn points based on the grades that you earn. And we'll look at that a little bit more in detail. Once you've been accepted to our nursing program, you would follow the sequential order of the nursing courses as you see those listed. We do start spring and fall for the traditional associate degree in nursing, but you would take those nursing courses in the order that you see those.
Yep, and like Beth was saying, they do go in order, so you can't double up. So that first term, students would take Nursing 111. The second term, they take Nursing 112 and 114. So it would be 5 semesters of nursing classes to complete the degree.
Yes, and just want to add, Nursing 111 is not like taking English 111. Each of the nursing courses has theory in the classroom or online. You have your nursing labs. You have open nursing lab times where you're practicing and fine-tuning your skills. You have your clinical participation in our hospitals and other healthcare agencies. We use Hospice of Wake County, just to give you an example. And you will spend a lot of time. Nursing 111, I understand, is a minimum 30-hour commitment per week. That should include your study time and practice skills time. And then by the time you get to your 5th and final term, your Nursing 213, Complex Health Concepts, you're really pulling all of your nursing education skills and experience together. And you're preparing for your license exam to become a registered nurse. And we understand that's a minimum 45 to 48-hour commitment per week. So taking one course at a time is reasonable. It is a rigorous program, and it's a lot to learn.
And remember, hospitals don't close. So a lot of the nurses now work 12-hour shifts. And so if you have to be at the hospital to meet your preceptor, you might be at the hospital at 6:30 a.m. So it's some different thinking processes. You know, you're not that normal classroom time because you're getting that hands-on experience. So, but we're ready.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
next slide. Oh, there you go.
All right, so a little bit more on how to calculate your points. And just a reminder, we do have an online nursing information session. We have a nursing program checklist for our program, so you'll be able to access this information. So the associate degree in nursing, we require the 2 English, the general and developmental psychology, the 1 humanities or fine arts, the introduction to sociology. There's no time limit on these courses. And then your biology courses specific to the associate degree are Bio 168, 169, which are Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2. And the 175 is the microbiology, the study of disease and illnesses. And the bios have to be within 5 years of your first nursing class. Now in the white, the practical nursing only has 4 pre or general courses. So the same English 111, the same Psychology 150, which is your general. There is a math requirement, minimum math 110, which is the systems of measurement and literacy, or it can be any higher level math course, but it cannot exceed 10 years at the time of your first nursing class. And then for the practical nursing program, they require Bio 163, which is the basic anatomy and physiology, all in 1 semester. Now, you can certainly substitute with both Bio 168 and 169. If you take both of those together, they will substitute for the Bio 163, and that might be what some of our students will do in the future as they might be preparing for practical nursing first, become an LPN, and then come back and complete an LPN to RN. Now, the associate degree nursing program doesn't have a specific math course within the program, but you have to meet minimum math proficiency within 10 years of application.
All right, ready? Next page.
Okay, program application deadlines. July 31st is the deadline for spring admission for the traditional associate degree nursing. January 31st for fall. The practical nursing program once a year, September 1st, and then January 31st will be the application for LPN to RN with that summer start. You will need to apply to Wake Tech. There's no fee. You'll also need to submit the application for the specific nursing program. And we do have our information at our health science admissions page. To be eligible to start a program, you'll need either nurse aid or LPN verification, documentation, T-scores from ATI, and provide English language proficiency. And the test of English as a foreign language, the TOEFL exam, may be required for some of our applicants who graduated outside of the United States if they don't have another way to exempt. Next slide. Okay. How competitive is Wake Tech's program? So spring of 21, the group that started January, we received 250 qualified applicants. Our initial accepted points range was 140 to 180. 180 means straight A's in all 9 general courses and 20 points on the T's. Fall 21 received a few less applicants, 225, and you'll see that the point range was 133 to 180. Please keep in mind that Wake Tech is one of very few schools that has a spring admission, so I have seen that quite often we tend to receive more applicants for spring, and sometimes the points are higher for minimum points for acceptance. Okay. Will I need a BSN? Well, currently Duke, UNC Rex, and Wake Med all have magnet status, and they will require that you complete an RN to BSN within 2 to 3 years after you begin your employment. And you'll usually have between 5 and 7 years of beginning the RN to BSN program to complete. Most hospitals will have educational stipends, scholarships, tuition reimbursements, and there are many RN to BSN programs nationwide, 777, and more than 600 programs that have at least partially online completion programs. So it makes it convenient for you to work full-time as a registered nurse and continue your education to complete that RN to BSN. And we have a RN to BSN articulation agreement between the North Carolina community colleges and 11 different state universities, ranging from Western Carolina, Appalachian, Winston-Salem, UNC Charlotte, all the way through ECU and down to UNC Wilmington. And to be eligible, you have to have graduated with the Associate in Applied Science degree from a community college with minimum 2.0, and obviously have your licensure as a RN.
So then I think the next page, if you go to it, the RN to, oh, okay, I'll keep going. So the RN to BSN articulation agreement came out in about 2015, and so it makes it a seamless process. So if you have a degree already in nursing, that the four-year colleges, four-year universities won't make you start from the very beginning. This articulation agreement is on our webpage. You're welcome to download it. And overall, go to the next page for me.
Yeah.
There's 5 blocks, and this is just an example of the first 2. And what it's going to do with that articulation agreement, it's going to tell you exactly what classes you would take at a community. It gives you the numbers. So for English composition, you can see that you need 6 credits, 2 classes, and it gives you English 111, English 112, 114. So you know which classes you have to pick. And so there's 5 blocks. The first 3 blocks are related to classes you can take at a North Carolina community college. And then the other 2 blocks are available, you know, that's the 4-year colleges. So this makes it very seamless if you're trying to go from being an RN to get your BSN. And what we usually will tell students, and Beth can agree with me, you know, right now, if you're starting the process, who knows where you're going to want to go. When this whole RN to BSN became very popular way back when, UNC Wilmington was where everybody wanted to go. Then all of a sudden, Western Carolina became the college. I mean, they doubled, tripled their numbers, you know, within a year, because a lot of those classes are online. They're not trying to take you away. So we try to tell students that these should be transferable, but if you know where you want to go, choose classes that will relate to that college, but realize once you start working, you might talk to a friend who says, hey, by the way, go to Fayetteville State. They're going to accept all these credits and you only have to do this. That's about how we,
Yeah, and there are differences with the math and the chemistry requirements. I think consistently they all require statistics. Block 1 are the pre-nursing courses that every associate degree in nursing requires, so you'll have those. And when you look at Block 2, we require the Sociology 210, which is the Introduction to Sociology. So you'll have that as well. Yeah. All right. So what's next? What is the best pathway for you to become a nurse?
And the other advisors might chime in even too, well, this part, because this is where we kind of collaborate and try to figure out how you become a nurse.
Yeah, and of course we had some of those BSN representatives earlier, but you know, please check out the North Carolina Board of Nursing. You can check out their pass rates on the license exam, and pass rates are based on first attempts, and you can see that Wake Tech is doing really well. I believe it was 2015 we had a 100% pass rate, which is always our goal, but please know students get another opportunity to come back and take the exam. To my knowledge, we don't have Wake Tech graduates who, you know, don't eventually pass. I believe you have 3 opportunities. So you can see that we do really well.
Yep. A lot of schools do.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about this earlier. Don't worry about your employability. If your training stops at the associate degree in nursing, there are still many opportunities for you to work in other healthcare agencies other than the magnet status hospitals. But if you are planning to work at Wake Med, UNC Rex, or Duke, you will need that RN to BSN. Our students are applying for their first RN entry-level positions during their final semester before they graduate, and most of our students will have 2, 3, or more job offers. So our students are being hired. We have a, you know, strong, long-standing reputation in the community. So it's really up to you to do your research for the BSN programs. There are a few of those BSN programs that will go ahead and do a transcript evaluation for you before you make a decision on definitely applying. And most of the nursing programs that I've seen do have information sessions. And, you know, with everything being virtual, a lot of those you can attend virtually, so it makes it very convenient. You don't have to drive and participate in person. So please check out the BSN options because there's so many different pathways and opportunities out there.
Yep, and there's a lot of, it's just a lot of research, but it is all out there. I mean, it's easy enough if you go on YouTube and say, you know, associate's degree versus bachelor's degree, you'll probably get 10,000 videos from where nurses have said this is how they did it. So there's so many ways to become a nurse. But if you're looking at us, Wake Tech's nursing program, or you're looking at, you know, the university transfer program, we are similar. You know, all of us require applications to Wake Tech. All of us have those basic admissions requirements. Both of us have all the gen ed courses. And if you noticed, all of the classes required for the nursing program are all part of the classes that Blair or Amanda have told you to take. The English, the psychology, there's no difference really in those general education courses. Mm-hmm. And honestly, even applying to a bachelor's program, you're not going to just walk in. As far as they're very competitive also. Is that correct? I haven't checked with ECU recently or Chapel Hill, but you're still probably going to have a 3.6, 3.7 GPA even to get into those bachelor's programs. So unfortunately, you're going to have, those are some similarities between the two programs. Anything else? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we will have a lot of four-year college students apply to Wake Tech, and they might have a 3.8 at ECU and they weren't able to get in. Yeah. So differences to know between the Associate in Arts to BSN, that would be our University Transfer Program. Advisors are located at any campus except the Perry Health Sciences campus. There are higher level math and sciences that you'll need to take. There's also additional general courses. You can take the classes at any campus. And then for the associate degree here, the health sciences advisors are only located at the Perry Health Sciences campus. Remember the time limits. They're 5 years on the bios. That's your anatomy and physiology and microbiology. 10 years on the math proficiency or the math course required for practical nursing. You have to submit a separate program application to the specific nursing program that you're interested in. And then once you're accepted to a nursing program, the courses are only offered during the day at the Perry Health Sciences campus. So it is a huge commitment to accept and join our program. You really need to have Monday through Fridays available. They will even have some opportunities for 12-hour shifts when you get later in the program. And then keep in mind that the nursing information session, which is offered online, is mandatory. And we invite you to check that out, because that's also where we'll have the nursing program checklist, the clinical nursing application, and other information that should be helpful. And bottom line, please don't put all your eggs in one basket. So a lot of people want to go into a health field. Obviously, nursing is very popular, and it seems to have been a little bit more popular since the pandemic. So please apply to multiple schools and different types of programs. You know, we'll have students apply for our associate degree nursing program who are also applying to BSN programs at 4-year, as well as other community college associate degree nursing programs. A lot of students are interested in healthcare, but please keep in mind that nursing's not the only option. We do have career employment resources. We have the Career Lens Lab, who can do interest inventories, personal profile assessments, and you can look at all the different options in the healthcare industry, find out more about our programs or other programs that other colleges have. And we have many other health science programs, medical lab technology, pharmacy tech, medical office, medical assisting. We offer, what am I leaving out? That's important. Oh, radiography, and now the medical sonography that just began in January. So we have many other options that you might be interested in the healthcare. All right.
And I did forget to put our contact information in. There you go. There's the one slide I forgot. So if anybody is interested or has more questions, you're more than welcome to email us. We do have our separate email, which is HS, which is health science, hsadvising@waketech.edu. And I definitely like the idea of not putting all your eggs in one basket. We had gone to a presentation once and UNC Greensboro showed up and they had the department head for nutrition. And it's like, well, you know what? Everyone can't get into nursing, but nutrition was open. It wasn't as competitive. And guess what? You still get that one-on-one with those patients.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they all of a sudden found out they had diabetes and now they need to change their plans. So there's so many ways to be able to get into that medical setting and work with patients. So,
absolutely. And you can still get jobs in the hospital.
oh, heck yeah. Pharmacy technology, if you complete that degree, I did not realize this, but you know, if you have patients that have chemotherapy, who puts that chemo medicine into the IV bags? It's a pharm tech. So, you know, there's so many ways that you can get into the hospital. So if you're not sure, Career and Employment Resources, we did a podcast with them. They're happy to see you every day of the year. They're even seeing people on Saturdays now. They're a little nutty cuckoo. But yeah, they are happy to help you find a new pathway to get a degree and graduate and get a job. So they can assist.
All right.
That's us.
Yeah, what questions does anybody have? Our colleagues or students?
All right, thank you both so much. The Q&A is open, so students can go ahead and type in those questions now. So we're still waiting for a few student questions to come in. I did notice that there was one, I think it was when the university representatives were here, that a student had asked. So she was asking specifically for Wake Tech advisors. If a student is finishing the Associate in Arts degree, but they don't have all the prerequisites for their BSN completed, do you typically advise to finish prereqs as a visiting student at Wake Tech or as a pre-nursing student at the four-year university? And honestly, for me as an advisor at Wake Tech, I think it varies by student and by situation. So I kind of play that on a case-by-case basis, just depending on the situation and the student. Of course, it's ideal if they're able to complete their prerequisites for the BSN during their associate's degree. But if that's not always the case, and that's okay, there are options as were listed in the question. So it'd be really on a case-by-case basis. I think either option would be fine. And I also always encourage the student to reach out to the university as well to get their opinion on that same question. I don't know if any of my fellow advisors on the call want to answer as well. If you have any other perspectives, feel free to jump in while we wait for a few questions.
Okay, guys, so we have our first question. Does Psychology 150 have a time limit?
No. Psychology, sociology, your humanities or fine art, Englishes do not have a time limit for Wake Tech's associate degree in nursing. Now, it's my understanding that there are some of the Bachelor of Science in Nursing programs that do have a time limit on the psychology. So you would have to verify with that Bachelor of Science in Nursing program at that specific college.
All right. So our next question is, if you are doing 2 years at Wake Tech and then transferring to a university, can you still apply to the nursing program at Wake Tech?
Well, you can, as long as you've met the minimum admissions requirements for the associate degree in nursing. So that includes having the nurse aid, the TEAS exam, and the math proficiency, which I'm sure you would have a math course with the university transfer options, and meet the English language proficiency requirement. And of course, complete the nursing information session. Your focus would be to make sure you have those 9 pre-nursing or general courses completed with a good combination of A's and B's to have an opportunity to be competitive. We have quite a few students who have dual majors. They're pre-nursing as well as university transfer associate in arts, which is appropriate. So we work with students who are preparing for our associate degree nursing program, but they're also leaving their option open for transferring for a BSN, but also to have that university transfer major so that they can take those additional general courses needed for RN to BSN.
Yeah, and just in case, Anthony, there isn't any requirement or any, we have students who have bachelor's, master's, doctorates. You're not going to be limited or eliminated based on what degree you already have. I mean, Wake Tech is going to welcome you back with whatever level, just in case they were concerned if they already had a degree, can they get another degree? Yes, Wake Tech would be happy to give you a nursing degree, and then if you want to go into culinary, we'll give you a culinary degree. I mean, we are happy to give you lots of degrees. We will not stop you from getting degrees at Wake Tech. So come on back.
All right, so the next question is, what is the Wake Tech GPA requirement for the LPN and RN program?
There's really not a requirement. We just look at the grades that you earn in those specific general courses. For the associate degree in nursing, I think it's average 3.4, but we're only looking at those specific courses required for the associate degree. We're not looking at history or geography, or if you took astronomy. We're looking at those specific courses. Now, the question for the practical nursing program, because it is brand new, we are just beginning for the first time in the spring. We're hoping that we'll be able to accept minimum 12. Some of our applicants that applied for, or students that applied for the associate degree in nursing, they also applied for the practical nursing program. And I am sure that some of the students will be accepted to the associate degree in nursing, and they were just applying also to the practical nursing program as a backup. There's only 4 courses that we're looking at for the practical nursing: the English 111, psychology 150, the math, and the anatomy and physiology and the T's. So I'm not really sure how to answer that question right now, because we just don't have enough information. I imagine it could be just as competitive. What do you think, Shelley? I mean, it's so hard to know, because I think a lot of the PN applicants also apply for the associate degree in nursing, then they'll get in to.
Bottom line, there is not a specific GPA.
No,
every semester we rank it will be different. So the only thing we can say is just do the best that you can in those 4 classes. So yeah, not really a specific GPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question, should a student complete Bio 168 in their first semester of pre-nursing, or is it okay for them to complete it in their second semester of pre-nursing if they are trying to apply for the nursing program by July 2022 or spring 2023?
Okay, well, I would definitely recommend that that student schedule an appointment with us so that we can look at their student record. You know, have they met the prerequisite to take Bio 168? What else are they planning to take with it? Are they going to be working or have family obligations while they're in school? As I'm sure all of you as advisors know, Bio 168 is minimum 20 to 25 study hours per week. And it's really critical that students have a strong foundation in that course and earn at least a B. So I think that needs to be an advising session opportunity, and we need to decide, you know, part-time or full-time for the student, and then develop a sensible academic course plan and timeline.
Yeah, because the one thing that the way it works out is, so if you're going to apply to try to get into the nursing program for spring 2023, the program application deadline would be July 31st, 2022. And so we're only going to award points completed through the summer of 2022. So the goal is hopefully to get as many classes completed at that point. Now, only complete as many classes that you can get with A's and B's. And if you can't make A's and B's, then you might want to extend that application deadline. And that's why if you come in and meet up with an advisor, we can try to make that plan. And of course, that plan can change. You might get into anatomy and physiology and go, oh, this is a little bit more than I was expecting, and take it another semester. And then we just, erase and make a new plan. So.
Right. And we hear that a lot, and we'll just adjust it, and keep in mind that summer terms are 8 weeks. That's really going to be tough to take anatomy and physiology 1 or 2 in the summer, because you might truly need 40 plus study hours during that 8-week session. Yeah. So an advising appointment would be appropriate.
Yeah, this next question is a follow-up with that. I'm guessing it's the same answer. They would have to go to the health science campus in order to talk about their timeline and pathways. But this student wanted to know, is there a prerequisite list needed to complete the pre-nursing program?
Yes, we do have the nursing program checklist, and then we have those 9 general courses listed with the grades and the points, as well as the T's. Yeah, so nursing information session, you can access that information. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We would ask that you, if you're coming in on a walk-in, to come by 4:30, so we can have enough time to meet with you, and you can schedule virtual appointments.
And last question, is the CNA required for LPN?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, CNA required for the practical nursing program. Yes.
Anthony, I think there's one more. I can ask it if you want.
Is there one more? I didn't see it. I only see the last one was the CNA.
Did you already address the one about the pediatric registered nurse? I may have missed it.
I don't see that one.
Okay. So one student did ask, is it the same process to become a pediatric registered nurse, or are there some differences because it's working with children?
Our associate degree in nursing, and I'm sure, Bachelor of Science in nursing programs, they are teaching you all facets of nursing. You're working with pregnant mothers, birthing mothers, newborns, all the way through the full lifespan. You will take that Psychology 241, which is the developmental psychology, and you will have opportunities, in our nursing program to work with, all patients. And when you graduate and apply for jobs, you might be working with pediatrics. You might be a cardiac nurse. You might be a psychiatric nurse. You might work in critical care. There's so many different opportunities, but you'll have your specific training on the job, just like you do when you come to Wake Tech, if you are new to Wake Tech or if you move to a different position.
Yeah, now a lot of our students will come back and say hello to us. Realize that as a new nurse, what will happen is the hospitals will hire you and you will go to their new nurse school because they want to teach you their ways. They want to teach you what's going to go on. In the beginning, realize you're a new nurse. You're not going to get the premier shifts. You might get the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift for the first week, and then you're going to switch to the next shift. The premier spots are going to be for the nurses that have already been there for a while. You're going to have to pay your dues and work where they put you until you build up those skills. So And then they usually have to be that pre-nursing school, what, about 3-4 months? And it's full time. And usually most of our students won't go back and do their RN to BSN during that time frame because they really don't have time. They're waiting for the hospitals to start to pay them to go back to school. So they're going to work, they're going to collect money, and then they're going to go to the school that gives them the most credit and is the easiest to get their BSN at that point when they're ready to get a BSN. So yeah, you got to pay your dues first. Sorry.
All right, that looks like, oh wait, I think we might have one more question. It just popped up. Okay, since I'm on here, I'll go ahead and ask, which campus can we meet with the nursing program advisors in person? Do we need to make an appointment in advance?
Perry Health Sciences campus, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We would appreciate if you would try to arrive by 4:30.
And maybe show up at 8:30. Let us get a cup of coffee. That would be dandy. But we are here. There are 5 of us, and any of us can assist you with nursing. It's just Beth and I kind of, that's more of our specialty because that's just a bigger program. But yeah, we're here.
Yeah, Shelly or Beth, could you, do you guys take walk-in students, or do they have to email or make an appointment at all?
No, walk in.
All right,
But if you want to make an appointment, because appointments will come first. So, right now it's quiet. So if you walk in, you could probably be seen right away. If you wait till it gets closer to registration, you might have to wait. So, yeah. And you did add the nursing admission checklist?
Yes, it is added to the announcement, so it should be
Thank you. So for this, one of the students asked about a checklist, and it was just added. So that way you can see everything you would need to do to be able to apply to Wake Tech's nursing program.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. There's one last question. This student is applying for admission for fall 2022, asking, can they take 2 prerequisite classes in spring 2022, or would all prerequisites need to be completed before the application is submitted?
Well, they can still apply, just realize what's completed through fall of 21 will be used to review for grades and point award for the January 31st application deadline for fall of 22. And it really just depends on what courses they're lacking. If they're bio courses, they're such high point award, most likely they won't be competitive, but it is possible if it's just 2 of your general courses that the grades are high and you have enough points, it's possible that you could be competitive. But we're seeing that most of our students have at least 8 and sometimes all 9 of those general pre-nursing courses completed to have enough points to be competitive for admission.
Yeah, and if you get in, you get in. If you don't, just reapply.
Right, you can reapply after spring by the July 31st deadline of 22 for spring of 23 admission.
You can apply as many times as you want.
Right. Okay.
Thank you. So that looks like wait, we just got one more.
And I think if I'm reading it right, that's a good question.
Okay, yeah, a student has asked that they're trying to get prerequisites so they can apply to the ABSN program. Do I need to, or do they need to apply to the nursing program in Wake Tech?
No, if they want university transfer, they want you. So, I mean, if they're planning to go to a 4-year university, they want, it used to be Associate of Arts. It can be Associate of Science. I'm not sure. I think the other advisors is kind of a mix of how you do it because, well,
Yeah, it's still associates. It's still associates of arts because that way they'd only have to take one math class.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and less rigorous and less science courses. Yeah.
Yeah, now that does not mean that if you are a student in an associate in science degree that you can still transfer for nursing. So if you decide that that is something you want to do, don't think that you have to have an associate in arts.
Correct.
All right, if everybody could please try to get their last minute questions in the next few minutes, that way we can wrap things up a little bit. I know Shelly and Beth, you said that you did not have a slide for your contact information, but if you want to type that in or anything in that Q&A, you can do that. Otherwise, we've certainly shared our contact information. And we'll just give it a few more minutes for any last minute questions.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and put a survey in the announcement or the question and answer chat area. If you all who are still in attendance don't mind filling out that survey while we wait for a couple more minutes, I'll also send out an email if you don't get to fill it out today, but please just fill that out so we can get some feedback from you about this event. And thank you to all of our presenters and all of our attendees. We are so glad you're here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and if students we have everything online, so they just go to our webpage, HS Admissions. So again, HS for Health Science, hsadmissions.waketech.edu. I think we even have under the student services now, we even have our own little tile that says Health Sciences. So it is hopefully easy to find us if they need us.
Yeah, and Shelly continues to update as things change.
My Drupal skills are amazing. Yes, they are. I can Drupal.
All right, well, if we don't have any more questions, again, thank you times a million to all the students, possibly some advisors who have attended the session. And of course, thank you to Perry Health Science, Shelly and Beth for presenting today. Please don't hesitate to follow. Please don't hesitate to follow up with any of us if you do have questions after. We will be happy to help you. And at this time, I believe Amanda said she'd be sharing the survey link. It is very helpful to us as we try to put on these virtual events for you, for everybody. So if you could please fill out that survey, we would greatly appreciate it. If for some reason you miss it in the chat, we will be emailing it out to you for those of you who have participated today. And we hope everybody has a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
For being interested in nursing.
Yeah. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, you too.